Patrick is the match referee. Steve-O, it's a cracking atmosphere.
It certainly is. You can tingle through your fingers, down your back. It is just a wonderful, wonderful occasion. Packed house here at Headingley. And we have so many superstars out there. It has to be a wonderful game.
Let's hope so. Paul Deacon gets us underway. A high hanging kickoff. Here we go. Great take by Richard McManus.
Not a bad option though from Bradford, gave it plenty of air. Bradford, they're running into a pretty stiff breeze, and you could see from the kickoff it hung around, but Richie Mathers, as he has done throughout this season, he's equal to the task.
Well, I don't think I've looked forward to a match more all year than this one. Leeds and Bradford always pretty special, but on this night when Iestyn Harris comes home, well, it just adds a little extra spice. And here is big Wayne McDonald as Leeds try to get the roll on early, and he gets the ball away to Willie Poaching, and Poaching has found a hole, and he's found Maguire! Maguire for Leeds! What a start for Danny Maguire! They rush to him, the Leeds players. They salute the man who has taken over the Iestyn Harris mantle. It's 32 tries now for the season for Danny Maguire. What a moment for Maguire, and what a start for Leeds, but it looks like he might have injured something on his way over the line.
Sheer quality, but good work here, or was it? I felt that it was just released. Didn't mean to do that, did the big fella McDonald. Poaching. What skill. You don't see many players around the world that can finish off a move like that. Great work, wasn't it, by McDonald? Took the gamble, so did Poaching. Look at this. In and out, on the curve. Sheer quality, world class. That's what he is. He's not leading the try scoring for nothing.
8 consecutive games now he has found the whitewash for the Leeds Rhinos. And what a night to do it, up against the Bradford Bulls, and in front, of course, of the Great Britain coach and the Bradford Bulls coach, Brian Noble. Kevin Sinfield then to give Leeds the perfect start. The Rhinos are ahead by 6 points to 0.
Bitter blow for the Bulls, and they know it. Quite a few of the fans behind the post where Maguire has scored thought perhaps that might have been a touch forward. It looked all right from that angle, didn't it? But the sheer quality of this youngster, in and out. Stuart Reardon was absolutely mesmerised by sheer skill.
Well, Maguire and Vainicolo on the other side. It's another little side issue, because Maguire now with 39 tries, and Leslie Vainicolo with 29 tries, 32 tries and 29 tries, respectively. Well, they are also in line to be, one of them, the top try scorer in the Super League this year. But Tony Smith, we just caught a glimpse of him there at the back of the stand. What a start for the Rhinos in this, arguably their most important match. Knock on.
Well, he was a hero a few seconds ago, but loose forward Willie Poaching definitely lost it. That is good refereeing by the official Carl Kirkpatrick. He knows it. Created that try a few moments ago for Maguire. Just loves it, doesn't he? Danny Maguire just sneaks in. He seems to appear out of the mist, doesn't he? But he's always there at the right moment.
Referee just having a word with the two front rows. Got the ball back now, so they can bind, well, just about. And it's first touch back at Headingley for Iestyn Harris. And a great cheer as Kevin Sinfield and Keith Senior ground him. This is Reardon. Good hit by Danny Ward. 5th in a row at prop forward now for the 24-year-old. Here is Jamie Peacock.
What you saw there, as soon as Iestyn Harris got the ball, that's the reason why Tony Smith, the Leeds coach, has definitely swatched him around. Danny Maguire playing halfback. Kevin Sinfield taking the stand-off position. It's Sinfield's responsibility to make sure that Iestyn Harris has no room to move.
Deacon back on the inside. This now is Shantaine Harpy. He releases it to Stuart Reardon again. Reardon with nowhere to go. Lauatiti completes the tackle. That's the last one for Bradford. It comes to Harris, and this is what he does so well. Floats the ball wide to Leon Price. Ball back inside, but that's great defence. Peacock nowhere to go. Marcus Bai and Willie Poaching all over him.
Well, I'm not so sure that Brian Noble would be happy that they went for the power play. Surely someone should have sorted themselves out. Okay, it wasn't the best pass, but they've got themselves into a position. They've got Justin Harris, they've got Paul Deacon out there. Got to make sure that when you get in a good position that you get that kick away.
Early in the match, Steve-O said there are stars all over this field. There are. Who'll be going home tonight with the Watchers Man of the Match. It's the onerous task of the men in the press. Dave Hadfield.
We've heard the reception that Justin Harris has had tonight. It's probably inevitable, even before Leeds reminded everybody and reminded all the Leeds fans about the circumstances of him being at Bradford. The only thing that could really take the limelight off him tonight is Danny Maguire. A fascinating compare and contrast with him, and we've seen how well he started off. And also, the only man who could probably deny him the position as leading try scorer in Super League, Leslie Vainikolo. We'll see plenty of his very different way of going about things, I think, tonight as well.
Thanks, Dave. You'll hear from him late on in the match with the name of the player who has contributed most to victory or otherwise. Here is Sinfield now. And he gets the ball away to Poaching, who ducks underneath Deacon, but Deacon hangs on to his collar. Sinfield, they're attacking down the right-hand side. Oh, that was a poor ball. It bounced off the chest of McKenna. Harpy has it back for the Bulls.
I think McKenna thought that he was going to be the dummy runner. Walker just offloaded it right onto the chest. Golden opportunity just wasted.
Of course, the match with plenty of spice, added spice before the weekend when Leeds decided to take court action against Justin Harris and against the Bradford club. Earlier in the week, the chief executive Gary Hetherington had apologised for accusing Bradford of coercing Justin Harris to sign for them, but now they have decided to take court action because Harris, they claim, has breached his contract, and Bradford induced him, is the word that they used on Friday. It adds spice to what is already a pretty tasty little affair. Marcus Barr, good ball in field. Richie Mathers.
Well, it was a good kick right into the corner, but I'm not so sure about the chase from the Bradford players. Okay, there were 3 or 4 down the right-hand side, but it's just as important out there on the left that you come back on the angle, and you could see there Marcus Bai had all the time in the world to pass the ball to the fullback.
Well, an electric start to this match, and inevitably, I suppose, it's just gone a little quieter in the past 5 minutes as the two sides try to find each other out. This is McKenna, and he will play the ball right on halfway, and Sinfield with the kicking. Drills it down the field, but is picked up by Michael Withers.
And an intelligent kick there as well. You know, once it hits the ground, it can go anywhere, it can bobble and wobble all over the place, and it just gets the man receiving the ball. They're going slightly sideways, not running onto it.
Offside, Leeds not standing square at the play the ball. Bradford have the penalty on the halfway line. Let's go down to the sideline. Phil, great atmosphere, isn't it?
It's a tremendous atmosphere here in the ground, and it's interesting when you look at Leeds this season. They've actually made more metres than any other team in Super League, and I'm sure Bradford will be aware that if they want to compete with them and beat them here tonight, they must match that dominance. Just from the very start of kick returns, when they pick the ball up with Bai or with a fullback Mathers, or on the other wing with Walker, straight away that sets them on the platform of going forward. And Bradford are aware they must close down those early runs to prevent Leeds from getting onto a roll.
Good movement from Peacock, but Ward doing well, hunting him down with Keith Senior. And this is Robbie Paul. Gets the ball in field to Rob Parker.
Be interesting to see when Brian Noble, the Bradford boss, that brings on from the bench Carl Pratt.
Leon Price, good ball. Lost though. Went backwards, play on. Fielden has it for Bradford. Dumps the ball then to Robbie Paul. He gives it width to Logan Swan, and here's Vainikolo. And Bradford are in, are they? It's going to be a decision for the video ref.
Well, they can't believe it. Vainikolo is saying, let's go for it, and that is good refereeing.
Let's check the screen for touch.
He has overruled the touch judge, who immediately lifted the flag. Yeah. Not much in it, though. Not much in it at all. I reckon it's just a stud that's hit the whitewash. That's that's what they got to do. What a beautiful effort, though, from Vainikolo. Look at this. That's okay.
Do it.
He is fine there, but that has just brushed the whitewash, has it?
Or was he airborne?
He was airborne, but you've got to now say, has the stud touched?
There, I think it has.
Only just. Boy.
That's what the video referee is looking at. Obviously, all they're looking at is Leslie Vainikolo's left boot.
As it left from the field of play. You know,
is his heel up behind all
that's
that?
what I think, and I think this try may be given. You'll see far clearer from this angle. He's sliding away, and then it goes up. This is going to be TRY. What an effort. So much agility from a huge man.
Is that you round his leg?
And I think that this try is going to be given. What's for the heel? It's gone, and its toe has come from inside the field of play. I think they're going to give this, Eddie.
Jeff Berry is the video referee. He's having another look head on. And he's obviously not convinced, so...
He hasn't touched it there.
Has he touched it there? Well, it's a huge decision for Jeff Berry, the video referee, and for Bradford.
I'm going to go TRY.
No try! And Brian Noble shakes his head. He was watching on the big screen as closely as anyone at home. And Leslie Vainikolo shares his disappointment. No try. He touched the whitewash, according to Jeff Berry.
Well, that's amazing, Eddie. You keep harping on about the benefit of the doubt to the attacking side, and I have to think that that really should have been given. I know it's pretty difficult, but he had so many angles with the video referee.
Well, he actually had two, and he looked at them very, very closely, and he's decided that the boot touched the whitewash, so the try is not given. Bradford will feel hard done by, but if it's right, if it's the right decision, it should be given. This is Ward. Diskin, Sinfield, high kick, high hanging kick. Vainikolo's underneath this, under no pressure, he pouches it, and he's off. Ooh, he nearly was. It was a very, very good job that Willie Poaching got to him.
He soon got into top gear, didn't he? And that surely will give Leeds the lesson. Tony Smith, their boss, will get the message out. Come on, we don't want to kick it straight down the throat of this fella, Vainikolo.
Robbie Paul, Stuart Fielden. Oh, another big hit by Danny Ward. Boy, Danny Ward has been putting himself about recently. That was a cracking tackle against one of the best in the world, Fielden.
And he's felt it as well. He's had a great season, Danny Ward.
Deacon's kick. It will turn Richie Mathers around, and Deacon, the man following up with Harris. They get to him, and they try to force him towards the touchline on this near side. Well, up here along the gantry alongside us, Ian Millwood, the St Helens boss. And what a rip-roaring start to this match, Ian.
Yeah, fantastic start, and probably only one noticeable thing between the two teams is the unload by Poaching to get them to 6-0, but there's nothing between the two teams. I think both coaches will be very happy, except for Brian for the try. It's interesting in sport, in that when a player does he reach his peak. We've got Poaching over 30, he's got the ball now, and he's one who delivered the first try. Here we go again.
That's a great ball to Matt Adamson, and he has Chris McKenna, who gets the second each try, but at a cost. Is that the hamstring gone? As McKenna pulled a hamstring scoring that try, he immediately held the thigh, and he limps away. He's got the 4 points, but that might be the last we see of Chris McKenna.
It could prove costly, but what a beautiful pass, and the way that Adamson came storming onto that football. He didn't run straight, he come at an angle, and he made sure that he was the defenders were off balance, and Adamson screams through. This is wonderful stuff. Look at that, see how it came on the angle. Shontaine Harpy thought he was going to run straight at him, he didn't, went for the gap, and the result, McKenna. Well, Mr. Poaching has provided 2 wonderful, wonderful passes. Finished finished off, and this is McKenna, who saved the try, perhaps a controversial one, no try that is, but you can't take it away from McKenna. He's worked really, really hard. There's the run from Adamson. Vinacolo, they tried, it was far too late. Harpy came over the top, and then he just grabbed the thigh as McKenna.
Yes, I thought for a minute that his hamstring had gone, but you saw on that it was the knee of the Bradford player that clouted Chris McKenna on the back of the thigh. So he limped away and he hasn't been withdrawn. And so Kevin Sinfield here to try and add the extra 2. Oh, he's kicked it from the other side this time. And Leeds are ahead by 12 points to 0. Matt Adamson, what a run from him. What a pass from Poaching. What a try from McKenna.
This is the difference. Instead of running straight, look how he runs on the angle. Goes right the way through. They went far too high. He kept his cool, didn't he? That is a sensational effort.
Bradford restart. They're 12-0 down. It's into the arms of Poaching, who gives it to Matt Adamson again. Boy, they will miss Matt Adamson, because he has decided he is going to Canberra next year. Okay, he is 32 now, 32 last week, but he is a terrific servant. And number 12 there of Bradford, Jamie Peacock, he has been the subject of an inquiry, we understand, by Leeds, because they're looking to replace Matt Adamson next year. The inquiry, by the way, was turned down flatly by the Bradford Bulls. Here is Diskin. This is Diskin, and eventually they collar him in the shape of Harpy.
Far too many of the Bradford defenders, they're going high, trying to grasp instead of getting the shoulder into it.
Wonderful kick this from Sinfield, and Senior has got it, and he gives it to Lauatiti, and Lauatiti scores. What a try for Leeds that was. Oh, Senior, he caught it, he fell on his back, wasn't tackled, released the pass to Lauatiti, and this big man is unstoppable. And at the moment, so are Leeds.
What a wonderful take, though, wasn't it? I mentioned the fact that why would Leeds be kicking the Vinacolo? They've got to go the other way, in which they did. Withers was all at sea. He got a fingertip to it, did Withers, but Senior did ever so well. Boom. It just came out there, struggled with it, offload, and the big man. Well, Leeds brought this fella, Ali Lauatiti, to provide the offload king. That's what they said. But this guy, he can't help but score tries. Get out of the way, Price.
Well, incredible. Ali Lauatiti, he was a substitute, but he got his first try for Leeds in the win at Bradford in June. And Ali Lauatiti, the New Zealand international, as Steve-O says, the offload king, but that mantle might be on the way to Keith Senior after that. But what a crossfield kick from this fellow Sinfield. And here he is lining up his third conversion, and this for an 18-point lead. 18-0 it is.
Well, it's amazing. Bradford just cannot get possession. It has been the Rhino that has been on the rampage right from the very kickoff. And you know, this fella here at Leeds, they reckon that he's not at his prime yet. They feel that will only come when the semi-finals. It's been a slow start for him, and he's getting better and better each week, isn't he?
He certainly is. And Poaching gives it to Jamie Jones Buchanan, who is just on the field as a substitute. He has replaced Matt Adamson. Another offload, Maguire, and he gives it space to Mathers. And Mathers eventually is brought to ground by Stuart Fielden. Phil Clark.
And there's no doubt that this is Leeds' best opening to any match this season. The 17 minutes they've played so far, they've been completely dominant against a side who you can tell got plenty of class and ability and determination, but are hanging on there at the moment. They're clearly peaking here tonight, and most appropriate. They've taken all of their chances. 18-0, it's not over. If they were to get another score, it might just be too much even for the Bradford Bulls.
Good tackling by Easton Harris as Richard Mathers received that pass. Here is Diskin and here's Sinfield again, and there's another little tester for Leslie Vainicolo. Did well. Diskin gets to him, stops the rampaging run, and he's finished off by Chev Walker. Leeds running hot. They know that since 1998 every table-topping team has made it to Old Trafford and the grand final, and they hope that in 2004, if they finish top of the pile, it will be no different this time. Of course, then you have to go and win it.
Yeah, it's one thing getting there, isn't it? Have the quality and the skill, and I must say that Leeds this year have grown in confidence. We know what they've got out there. Could they just get it together? Whereas they've failed at the final hurdle last couple of seasons. Tony Smith, their new coach, has certainly added a lot to them.
Good kick down the middle from Paul Deacon. That will run and bobble all its way to the line almost. Richard Mathers puts a foot on it. Now, if Leeds do win here tonight, next Friday at 7:30, Sky Sports 1, if they beat the relegation-threatened Castleford Tigers, Leeds will clinch the league leadership ahead of the playoffs. They will receive the trophy for that feat during the course of the weekly rounds. Not necessary that it will be presented after the match next week, but we will be here on Sky Sports to see whether Leeds can claim pole position up to the grand final. Maguire, and if they play and continue to play for the next hour like this, I don't think Bradford can possibly stop them. Here is Ryan Bailey. Oh, that's a risky business, and he's given it to Logan Swan.
Silly play there. Danny Ward went hunting as well.
That might be just the little Philip.
No, it won't be.
No, it won't be.
Let's play on. Crowd don't like it, but both had the opportunity. And there's problems out there. Shantae Harpy.
Yes, he's lost a boot. Has he? Or somebody has out there. No, it's Deacon who's lost the boot.
Well, at 18-0, you just can't see Bradford getting back into it. But we know the quality that they have also.
Well, they're world champions, Steve-O.
Of course. But it's up to the likes of Peacock and Fielden to get their go forward. We know how important it is for them.
Here is Fielden.
But the trouble is they have not had consecutive sets of 6. They need it desperately.
Here's Harris. You know his quality as well. And he offloads to Robbie Paul. And Robbie Paul attacks down the right-hand side. There is Marcus Bai, and Marcus Bai...
Where's the chase?
Gets the ball back into the field of play.
They're asleep at the Bulls. Where are the chasers there? They just stood around. There is no cohesion. There is no teamwork at all. And they're missing so many tackles. We already saw the graphic a little bit earlier. 6 clean breaks by Leeds in the first 20 minutes. No team can live with that.
Yes, they have the look this year, don't they, of a team that could be champions for the first time in 32 years, the Rhinos. They've played so well. Here's McDermott now. They've played so well from the very first week of the campaign. Maguire dabs the kick over the top, and he hopes that that will find touch. And it does. Reardon not interested. Well, Danny Maguire, the leading try scorer in the Super League competition. Is he Great Britain material, Steve-O? A lot of people think so.
Yes, I said it last year. He should have been selected for that dead rubber against the Australians. The Aussies had already got the ashes sewn up. A golden opportunity missed, I felt, not to blood this guy. A lot of people feel that, you know, you don't just give away a Great Britain jersey. Hang on, this kid's sensational.
He is, and that's why there is a full house inside Headingley tonight. The gates are locked, and it is a capacity attendance on this Sunday night for the visit of the Bradford Bulls. And any Leeds fan worth his salt would not even be able to predict that after 22 minutes the Rhinos would be 18-0 up against the reigning Super League champions.
Well, it hasn't surprised me because Bradford, on their very first kick and chase, they were extremely lethargic. You've got to really work hard, and they haven't done that yet.
Langley, Brian Noble has made a couple of changes as well.
Well, it's an important one. He did it last week, did Brian Noble. He brought Carl Pratt And I think Carl Pratt turned the game around at a time where Wigan was starting to get back into the game. They'd already levelled the scores.
That's good harassing though by Withers and Leon Price on Marcus Pye.
And of course Pratt, former Leeds player.
Yes, and he is out there as well, as you just saw. And Iestyn Harris penalised for interference at the play of the ball. And talking out of turn to Mr. Kirkpatrick, there are 10 metres further towards his own try line.
Well, Senior just grabs hold of it and then throws him away. It should have been a penalty the other way around, and that's the reason why Iestyn Harris is livid with the official. But Bradford have got to get themselves sorted out. Leeds are running riot. Look how they're hanging back. They're getting over the advantage line. They're mesmerised at the moment.
Lauatiti plays it to Diskin, who finds Sinfield. Here is poaching. And they get to poaching eventually, so as he can't offload again.
What about a step from Maguire again?
Diskin, Sinfield.
Did well to hang on to that. Silly play.
Knock on. Knock on is the decision. Well, Ian Millwood, of course, and the Saints felt the full weight of this Leeds Rhinos team at Headingley not long ago. 18-0 after 24 minutes again tonight, Ian. They are looking like a team that you all have to stop.
Yeah, you know, at the moment they're playing very, very well and they deserve to be losers of the comp. But there's an old saying in rugby league, your desire is shown in your kick chase, and they've scored a try, Leeds, from a kick chase. We're seeing you out jumping the winger. We've just got the ball in the in-goal area by Robbie Paul, which would have been a real turning point, you know, to apply some pressure, and they've let Marcus Pye get out. Bad sign there for Leeds, for Bradford when that happens. But I just think overall at the moment, it's so ruthless, Super League. You know, you can come up with 3 or 4 errors and you get punished, and I think that's a show of the quality of the standard of Super League. And they've come up with 3 or 4 errors, Bradford, and they've been punished heavily for it.
It's Bradford here looking to respond if they can, and the referee says that's a knock-on.
They are just not at the races. See, they're fielding, not running onto the football, very, very flat. Inside pass, we've seen nothing from Bradford in attack that we've been used to over the past seasons. Exhilarating at times, can the Bulls, but they look ever so lethargic in it.
Well, can Bradford make it to a 4th straight grand final? They are looming as a threat to everyone, or at least they were until 7:35. And the grand final is a 6 o'clock kickoff on October the 16th at Old Trafford, the Theatre of Dreams. Who'll be dreaming on the 15th of a big victory the following day? Information line number is 0113 232 9111, and they'll be open for business at the RFL in the morning for any information you might require about the big night. Diskin is away for Leeds. He got as far as Richard Moore.
Hasn't he improved this season?
Sinfield. Here's Maguire. Just applied the brakes, lost his footing. I say this beautiful carpet that normally is Headingley is rutted with sand tonight. They've obviously done a little bit of remedial work on the field. That's good defence from Reardon.
Well, he's got penalised, but he's spot on. There was no one laid a finger on him, and that is what Kevin Sinfield is saying, and now he's been marched 10 metres. But I think the official is wrong. Sinfield stood away, hoping to get a voluntary tackle against him. Watch this, Reardon goes down, and he says, I'm not attempting. And then he gets him.
He did have a hand on him, Kevin Sinfield. Does that mean the man is tackled? I suppose it does.
Well, we'll see better here. I'm not so sure he does. He doesn't.
But the referee did shout that the tackle was surrender. It was a surrender tackle.
It's a voluntary tackle if you can't surrender, and the tackle can't be complete unless the other man touches it.
Penalty against Sinfield again.
We've seen it
quite a few penalties against Kevin Sinfield.
We've seen it quite a few times over the years, Eddie. This, introduction of the referees, they don't take into consideration the voluntary tackle.
Well, don't mention voluntary tackles when Bradford are involved and when Ian Millwood's our guest. This is Paul Johnson.
I wasn't even thinking about it.
Oh, yes, you were. This is Leon Price. This is Jamie Langley for Bradford. If they could score now, Fat would be in the fire. Carl Pratt spins the ball to Deakin. Here is Richard Moore, back from his loan spell with the Broncos. Carl Pratt again, attacking the line. Good ball, good defence. So far, Vainicolo, sheer weight of numbers, but he got the ball away, and they're keeping it alive. Bradford brilliantly. They'll attack this way now. It's with Langley. Great defence from Leeds again. Maguire and Marcus Pye, try savers. For how long? Harris, Leon Price flicks the ball away, and Maguire was quickest.
Well, Brian Noble must be pulling his hair out, and he has every right to be as well. Good positions just wasted.
Yes, Dan. Get square.
Not the best pass. Price was always trying to go backwards to pick it back up.
Come on.
Harry McDermott played the ball there, and a quick scamper away from dummy half by Richard Mathers.
But look at the ground that Leeds are making from the dummy half position. See the Bradford defensive line. Some are going up, others are standing back. If you don't go as a unit, and he knows it as Brian Noble, they're going to concede even more tries in this first half.
Maguire to Sinfield again, who pumps the ball down the middle. And that's going to run far too deep. And it does. So Bradford will start with a tap on the 20, and Leeds' defensive line will marshal itself 10 metres away. There they are already.
It's not a bad ploy, that either.
Vainicolo here.
Okay, he kicked it with a lot of force. It did go that, but it gives you the chance to get yourself set up as a one-liner defence. And they know that Bradford, they're off form at the moment, so the errors could certainly come.
The errors could certainly come, but Phil Clark, it only needs a flash of inspiration here, and Bradford are back in the match.
Eddie, I think the game's at its most intriguing right now. Bradford just hanging on. There are times in a game and throughout the season when your opponents are playing better than you, but the thing you've got to be able to do is somehow hang in there, and I think that's what will please Brian Noble over the last 5 minutes. They've moved the ball around, they've posed some threat, and here they go with another chance down the right-hand side.
Indeed, this is Michael Withers, but look at that defence, and it's Maguire who's involved in just about everything. A lot of people pose a big question mark against Maguire's name defensively. Boy, look at this.
He did everything right, didn't he? Made sure that the only option for Withers was to go towards the touchline.
Well, he's a man, and I've said it so many times this year, he is a man who one of these days, I know we don't have the Test series this year against Australia, we have the Tri-Nations. He's a man who could win the Ashes for Great Britain. I'm convinced of it.
I'd have to agree with you, Eddie. The mere fact that it'll probably be the first time that we've actually gone into any international match with a recognised standoff.
In the near history, certainly. Here he is again. Whoa! Oh!
He felt that.
And he felt that one as well.
He might say to himself, I think I might offload for a couple of occasions.
Leslie Vainicolo then just looked at him and rubbed his head. Big smile on his face. And there's Vainicolo again. He's going to be penalised this time. Sure.
Well, he just lost his cool, didn't he? The old chip pan was boiling and someone threw water right over the top. Poof! Off he went. And it's not his game. We all know that, but he was a little bit rattled with his tackle involved with Danny Maguire, and when the adrenaline starts going around, I think they're called endorphins, aren't they?
I think Carl Kirkpatrick said everything was fine, but when you throw a punch, and I don't know whether a punch was thrown by Vainicolo, but he was certainly all over the top of Ryan Bailey and was eyeballing him as he got to his feet. He won't be happy, Brian Noble. He will, surely. He'll be delighted. McDermott just signed a new one-year deal, and he has a testimonial to celebrate next year as well. And here's Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Well, they're asking questions all over the park, Leeds.
Watch for the inside pass from Sinfield.
Diskin. Here's Maguire. Poaching. Looping pass wide. Marcus Pye. They managed to hold him out. That's the Bradford try line there. Here's Maguire again. This is poaching. Trying to just drive his way forward himself. Diskin this time. And Diskin to Bailey. Last tackle here for Leeds. Will Diskin try himself? No, he'll stab the ball into the in-goal area, he hopes. And Carl Pratt tidies up for Bradford.
Well, there we saw a repeat from Kevin Sinfield. Pratt put himself in a good position. He had
That's a good run from Reardon.
And Sinfield just left him alone, hoping to get, and then he realised they better tackle this fella. Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Come on!
Yet it is. Voluntary tackle yet again.
Oh! Keith!
Midway inside their own half, Bradford. Carl Pratt, Stuart Fielden.
Boy, if ever a side wanted the hooter to go for half-time, it's the Bradford Bulls.
Carl Pratt with a kick down the line, looking for Vainikolo, but too deep.
Well, at least it'll settle them down. Bit of a smile to his former teammates.
Still great friends with some of the Leeds Rhinos, obviously, Carl Pratt.
And it's a good kick as well. OK, Leeds will get possession. But it's been a long time since the Bulls have been into this territory.
I suppose they have stemmed the flow in the last quarter hour or so.
Heads in! Heads in!
The third try was scored after 16 minutes, so it's a moral victory at the moment. Oh no, Maguire's on the go again. Maguire with Vainikolo in hot pursuit. He won't catch him. He will not catch him. All the threes, 33 from number 6, Danny Maguire. He's scintillating. He's exciting. And he's only 21 years of age. What a prospect for the future. What a player for the present. Danny Maguire.
How on earth can we ignore this man?
Well, no longer. No longer, surely.
Not the way that he scores tries. Good work from McKenna. He really has come to form, McKenna, over the last 6 or 7 weeks. But there was no contest, and he knew it. Maguire, he kept running away for the corner. You knew he had plenty of space. But again, poor defence, not the best. Good support. In the support section, you'd have to put this guy now in the same category as the likes of Sean Edwards. He pops up out of nowhere. He reads the game. This is no fluke. This guy knows how to put himself back on the inside. When the ball goes to the left or the right, he will be running down the middle. A star, never mind in the making. He's there now.
He is, Danny Maguire. He has only not scored in 5 matches this year. And one of those 5 was at Odsal in June. Well, for the second time tonight, Bradford are behind their posts because Danny Maguire has registered a 4-pointer. And Kevin Sinfield here, this is arguably his most difficult. 3 from 3. And this time he's pulled it the wrong side of the post. 22 points to 0 though. Leeds over their nearest, dearest and fearest rivals, the Bradford Bulls. Sweet music to a Rhino's ear, Phil.
It certainly is. I know we only judged the man of the match at the end of the game, but if you had to pick it right now, I think I'd probably go for Chris McKenna. He's denied a try when Leslie Vainikolo dived in the corner. He's just set up a superb one for Danny Maguire, and he scored one himself. I think he's probably going through his best patch that he's had actually at Leeds. He went through a tough time through injury, and his form wasn't as good as it should have been, but all of a sudden he's come back, and with him and the players like Adamson leading on the back of it, they're doing very well. It's interesting to watch the collisions in a game of rugby league, and at the moment Leeds are dominant in most of those, whether it's in attack or defence. When the man goes in with the ball, he tends to be finding the fall, getting up and playing the ball quicker, and dominant again defending. So just look at the yards that Adamson's made there as soon as he's collided with his Bradford teammates, just 3 or 4 metres, and that's taking them closer and closer to the Bradford try line yet again.
Quick play the ball by Burrow to Maguire, on to McDermott. McDermott offloads it to Kevin Sinfield, and Leeds will come again down the left, the right-hand side. Oh, McKenna! McKenna! He's in! McKenna's in for his second. No need to refer that one. Well, they beat the Saints not long ago here. Have they even topped that tonight?
Super play, but you still have to keep pointing. the finger at this Bradford defence. You know, the amount of space and time that Leeds have every time they play the ball, and that just indicates that Bradford's 1 and 2 marker, they're just not working. Look, they just hang on. What are they going to do? He gets it away, and watch this pass. Superb. He knew that Harpy was coming in on the angle, and as soon as he stepped off the right boot, he was on his way to the fore. Great pass, watch this. Look at that. Just a little step, swerve of the body, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 points on that ball, boy.
Chris McKenna, he started slowly. His first appearance of the season came here against the Bulls in April. He was injured against the Bulls at Odsal in June, and he's come up with a couple of tries here, Chris McKenna. And Bradford struggling to hold on to Leeds, and it is not many happy returns for Iestyn Harris. Sinfield from the touchline again, misses. 26 points to 0 though, and the Bradford fans are pretty quiet.
Well, they're stunned, they're disappointed, they know. There you see it, 1, 2, 3, 4, stood still. Don't know what they're going to do, and they can just watch in disbelief. Well, we spoke to Brian Noble yesterday, and he was saying that he thought that his side had turned the corner. They'd gone through their bad patch, and this guy is running riot.
He wasn't tackled, McKenna. They put him down, but they didn't lay a hand on him. It's 26-0 as we approach half-time. Ian, I don't want to rub salt in your wound. It was 38-0 when you were here not long ago to Leeds. How do you stop this lot?
Well, we've got to stop this first. I think they're on again, Eddie.
Well, they will be, because they can't put Rob Burrow down. Rob Burrow! And it's 0 on the tackle count. It's play on. Diskin, Adamson, Mathers, wide, too high for Chev Walker.
And
he needed to be 8 foot tall.
And that
Ian,
was try time.
back to you.
Well, you just mentioned about the 30 points at half-time. I thought the 30 was going to be registered then. But the hardest part is, you know, when momentum in games, people don't realise once momentum, you come up with errors. The disappointing thing I thought about Bradford tonight is their lack of composure, especially in vital situations where they push the pass. I think every coach looks for a smooth line in defence, and that's not happening in Bradford now. It's getting very ragged, and the half-time can't come quick enough for Brian. The thing is to assess things at half-time.
That's what he will be able to do now, Brian Noble. And although we're telling Ian all the time that he came here and was hammered by Leeds, that is true. But Ian Millwood is also the only coach this year to have done this to Leeds, because he did it to them at Nosey Road earlier in the season. Well, we'll hear from Ian at half-time now as Bradford troop off, and the body language doesn't look good from Bradford, but Leeds go off in a pack. They go off as a team. They play as a team, they travel as a team, and they leave the field together. There is something special about Leeds this year. Just ask Bradford. 26-0.
Super September on Sky Sports. A feast of one-day cricket.
How good is this?
3 games between England and India.
And then the Champions Trophy.
12 nations, 15 live matches.
Straight down the ground, that's a fabulous shot.
Rugby's back, a new Premiership season.
Playoff time in Super League.
A new season of NFL.
And the big one.
Golf's ultimate team challenge.
The Ryder Cup.
Super September on Sky Sports.
Don't miss it.
Like most small firms, we have to make dozens of absolutely vital calls every day.
Hello, Matt. Is the kettle on? I'm gasping.
See what I mean? Vital. They can't function without the tea.
Save us a steak and kidney.
An army marches on its stomach.
Those mobile calls we make to the people we work with, wouldn't it help if they were free? With Vodafone Perfect Fit for Business, they are.
Low on Garibaldi's? Right. Staff biscuits, total priority.
Vodafone. Free calls between your company mobiles. Johnny's only human. Just like you, when he's 45, he'll have a 3 in 4 chance of high cholesterol. If you're 45 or over, get tested. Free at Boots.
For the 60 million football managers, the Barclays Premiership. Barclays, fluent in finance.
Sharing the passion. Panasonic, ideas for life.
Sure for Men Active Response kicks in extra protection, keeping you fresh all day long. It won't let you down.
Insure's great, but if your car insurance costs over £400, call my new sister company.
I'm not your sister.
Please, dear, I'm talking. First Alternative insures drivers of posh cars. My sister company.
I'm not your sister, dummy.
Calm down, dear. It's a commercial.
Stop calling me.
eSure requires a 4-year no-claim bonus. First Alternative doesn't. Call 08450 455 455.
Who are you?
An insurance salesman. First Alternative.
Up to 4 years 0% finance is now available on selected new Puntos.
Boy.
The ultimate battle.
Oh, that's a big hit.
Is one of strength.
An unstoppable ball.
And honor.
Whose nerve will hold?
When the feared
Anderson.
Meet the fearless.
Great try.
And heroes are born.
This is the moment for long. He's kicked in.
It's the agony.
Oh, the tears will flow.
And the ecstasy.
There are scenes of joy on this field.
Of the grand final.
The grand final, Saturday, October the 16th. It will kick off at 6 o'clock. It will be live on Sky Sports. Any other information you need is available from the RFL. That's the Rugby Football League, 0113 232 9111. And the phone lines will be open first thing in the morning. Now then, more live Premiership football coming up this week. On Tuesday, it's Crystal Palace against Chelsea. And on Wednesday, Newcastle take on Norwich. Both matches are live from 7 on Sky Sports 2. The biggest match of the year, they call it, in this part of the world. Leeds and Bradford. And Leeds 26, Bradford 0, the scoreline at half-time. Well, very relaxed in the Leeds dressing room, and why not? All has gone according to plan. Some sensational tries, 2 from Maguire, 2 from McKenna, as you've seen. And, well, they're heading for the top of the table, aren't they? The first time since 1972 they have hit the peak. But Brian Noble is a little more animated because I don't think he's very impressed with what he saw in that first half. They are champions. They are world club champions, the Bradford Bulls, at the moment. if they get hold of the football in the second half, they can cause some problems. But never before, certainly not in Super League this year, have the Bradford Bulls been more than this behind at half-time. In fact, the last time they trailed by anything other than a narrow margin was 22 points to nil at Odsal last year against St Helens, and St Helens went on to win 35-0 on the night. Ian Millward is with us here at Headingley. You must be as impressed as all of us with this Leeds performance.
Well, it is a super performance. It's rampaging. It's got a lot of great execution. The interesting thing is the confidence in the team at the moment. When a person makes a break, there's someone there. But Brian would probably be amazed, because last week they had a great win, Bradford, and he probably thought we're just starting to creep into good form come the playoffs, and then they've had a big step back, and it's all occurred for their defensive errors and of pushing the ball where they usually have composure. Two vital areas that Brian would be extremely disappointed in. So would the players. The thing is, it's very hard to turn that around in 40 minutes when a team is rampaging like it is.
Well, absolutely. It started slowly for Bradford. They didn't really get out the traps. They've hardly had any football. If they do, you think they might cause Leeds trouble in the second half?
Well, after the first couple of tries, there wasn't a lot in it. You know, I mean, we had the situation, the first one where Poaching got a fantastic offload, and that man Maguire supported him. And I think you've got to remember, every time Maguire gets a try, everyone's raving about him. He is playing well, he is exuberant, he's got confidence, but he supports well of people who are creating chances for him. And I think a lot of accolades should go to the people around him who are creating that. Good luck to him. He's sniffing of a try is fantastic. But, you know, there wasn't a lot in it. But, you know, I mean, a couple errors, and, gee, they made them pay. And then the momentum build, the crowd build. And I thought their confidence got knocked around very quickly, Bradford.
Well, they really do love to build it here, and you can probably hear behind me in the background they are pumping it up with the cheeky girls out there on the field. And there they are, 21,200. It's a sellout crowd, from the cheeky girls to a cheeky chap. What do you make of that first half?
Yeah, cheeky chappy, eh? The one thing that Brian Noble won't be cheeky with, and that's with a smile, because you could see there that his body language, he was not impressed with that first 40 minutes. 16 missed tackles. You can't win a game when you do that in the first half. You're always going to be put under pressure. I don't know why, but Bradford are just hanging off on this occasion. McDonald getting the ball away. Poaching makes the break. Superb positioning yet again from Maguire. And you just had that feeling, uh-oh, the Rhinos are really going to run rampant. This should have been a try, I felt. I thought Vinacolo, his foot came from the field of play, and you can see how the heel has gone up. It was a wonderful effort, but it was going to be no try. But soon after that, it was this man, Poaching, yet again. Ian Millward, when he's in this form, unstoppable.
Well, this I was trying to make the point during the commentary. When does a player reach his peak? He's at 30 years of age now, and he's starting to reach his peak. He's very exuberant with the ball, and I'll tell you what, he's got footwork which creates problems, and he is playing at the best of his career. And once again here, great kick, but look at the way they hustle up. They hustle up, but look at the awareness of Ali Latiti. The ball's there, it's support. And when teams are on form, their support play is outstanding, and Leeds is.
Right from the base of the scrum, the first pass, this is not good defence at all. McKenna having a wow of a game, and who pops up yet again? It's no fluke. As I mentioned in that first half, he reads the game ever so well. Maguire in for his second try, and the man of the moment. Look at this defence, hanging away. McDermott has the opportunity to offload. They're all stood there. There were four players saying, what's Sinfield's going to do with it? I'll tell you what it is. McKenna just runs into the corner. Absolutely superb. It's going to take a big effort from Bradford. The coach, Brian Noble, has to lift them. I know that Tony Smith will be very, very happy indeed. More of the same. As Eddie mentioned, interestingly, when they left the field, they all went in as a unit, as a pack. And that has been the difference this year for Leeds.
Yes, they have great spirit here by the looks of things. Phil Clark is a little closer to all that than we are up here in the studio and on the gantry. They're impressive, Phil. We can't take anything away from the Rhinos.
No, you can't. I don't know whether Leeds have been watching the Olympics this week, but they've certainly taken the motto of stronger, higher, faster to hard. And I think they've played at a level that we perhaps haven't seen before this season. If you want to beat your opponents in any game, you need to dominate them in the middle of the field. And they did that early on. Danny Ward was strong in attack and in defence. Ryan Bailey came up with a strong run, breaking through, just making those extra metres. Matt Diskin as well has been dominant and has been lively and aware of any opportunities to take the metres and just send Leeds onto the back foot time and time, and Bradford onto the back foot. The defence near their own line, because they have been tested on 1 or 2 occasions, has been strong. And again, we see Bai and Danny Maguire just hustling and bustling the Bradford player out of play. Very impressive first half. Just wonder what can go on now in the second half.
Well, if Bradford come back and win this, somebody's going to go home with a watch. And that's the prize that Dave Hadfield and his colleagues in the press box have to decide who will be taking it home tonight. Well, it's got to go to a Leeds player at the moment. But as I say, if Bradford come back and pinch the match in the second half, you can bet your life it's heading to someone at Odsal. Can Bradford come back? They're champions, they're World Club champions, and champions do respond.
Would a global power failure be the end of mankind? Ex-SAS operative Chris Ryan provides the ultimate survival guide.
The key to this situation is information.
Terror Alert Mass Blackout, Thursday, 9, Sky 1.
There are other disposable razors, but now there's new Gillette Sensor 3. Totally new handle. 3 blades mounted on responsive springs that adjust to your face. No Gillette disposable shaves better. You may think it's the best disposable you ever threw away. Gillette Sensor 3. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
Is athlete's foot driving you up the wall? A solution is Once Daily Lamisil AT Spray. It starts to work effectively to treat athlete's foot in just 7 sprays.
David Redshaw. Yeah. This, I believe, is yours. You left it in a bar the other night. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But when you consider that beer's a Heineken, it becomes a different matter. Come on, let me explain. Heineken has changed. It's brewed in sideways tanks, not upright, sideways. We got rid of the 3.4%, and it's now the 5% ABV you drink abroad. So when we see people not appreciating all the efforts we've gone to, it makes us kind of upset. Yeah. So next time you order Heineken, just remember how it's made. What do we got? Paul Walters spilled his pint last Thursday. Let's go.
What can I get for 50p, Dad?
50p? Well...
What about this?
Maybe.
What about that?
No.
Dad? Dad?
I'll tell you what, we'll have a word.
50p.
Our prices aren't that low, but it's hard to find lower. That's Comet Sense.
Plaque is a major cause of gum disease. Fortunately, Listerine can reduce the buildup of plaque by half compared to brushing alone. Great news for everybody, except dentists. Listerine, bad for bacteria, good for gums.
Digital's great. Digital cameras, phone cameras, we can shoot all we want. But we hardly ever print our pictures. And that's the best part of photography, pictures. Colourful, beautiful pictures you can feel in your hands or put in an album or in a frame. We miss real pictures and we want them now.
With the new Kodak kiosk, Kodak quality prints have finally come to digital. For digital prints in seconds, just look for the nearest Kodak kiosk sign. Pictures are back.
Now available at most Boots stores.
Sure for Men Active Response kicks in extra protection, keeping you fresh all day long. It won't let you down.
If you sell your car and don't send off the updated vehicle registration certificate, you'll still be liable for its car tax and the fine for not paying it.
Do you remember me?
traitor. Help us and we can work with you. I can't. I don't remember.
Ben Affleck, Uma Thurman. A John Woo film, Paycheck, now showing on Sky Box Office.
Maguire! Oh, fabulous!
Everybody, let's get into it. Get stoked, get started, get started, get started. Let's get it started. This is going to be a big one. Let's get it started. Yeah, let's get it started.
Oh, fabulous!
Let's get it started.
Magnificent try! Oh, great little break.
Let's get it started.
Yes, it's a fantastic bank holiday weekend coming at you next weekend. Friday 7:30, we'll be back here at Headingley. Leeds against Castleford. All the games are on Sky Sports 1 notice. Saturday at 6, Widnes against Wigan, and Monday, bank holiday Monday at 5:30, we're at Hull for the showdown with Bradford. It could be the playoff for second spot, that. And then, just to add a little bit of fuel to the fire, we have two coming in from Australia as usual. The live match on Sky Sports 3 Saturday morning at 10:30, Cronulla, Melbourne. And next Sunday, 10:30, also Sky Sports 3, the West Tigers and the North Queensland Cowboys. Well, this place will be packed to the rafters again on Friday for the visit of the Castleford Tigers. It's a massive match for the Tigers as well, of course, down there at the foot of the table. They won earlier on today. Widnes also won. So it's still to be decided at the foot, and it's still to be decided at the top. But if Leeds push on and win this match against Bradford Bulls, and remember they are in control of the game at half-time, 26-0, they will clinch if they beat the Tigers next weekend. They will beat the league leaders, mantle going in to the playoffs. And no team that has finished top of the table has ever failed to reach an Old Trafford Grand Final. So stakes are high, and they are in this second half for Bradford. Talking of high, that's about 1.5 foot high, that kicking tee that Kevin Sinfield uses for kickoffs. We've got plenty of air on it, and this is Iestyn Harris. Well, more of the same from Leeds, I'm sure, will be what Tony Smith has said. But Brian Noble, well, he must be looking for an improvement, Steve-O, in this 40 minutes.
Well, I'm sure he's told the players, look at the badge, a lot of pride, that's what we need. It certainly was not showing. They were not at the races. Lack of coordination. We mentioned the fact at half-time that the way that the Leeds players, they got into a huddle as the hooter sounded and they walked off as a unit. Never seen that done before. Any ploy, that's to your advantage. That's what the coaches will do, and you just got to keep saying to yourself that Tony Smith has just had a lot more polish.
Deacon under pressure, got a clout from Bailey as he got that kick in. It's straight down the throat of Marcus Bai, and Deacon groggily gets to his feet in back play.
Well, Liam Price, looking at the official there, he was taken out off the ball by Keith Senior. It's one thing protecting the man taking the football, another thing taking a man out. Could have been penalised.
Chef Walker here for the Rhinos. Let's go down to the sideline, and Bill Arthur is talking to Liam Botham.
Thanks, Eddie. Liam, this must be good to watch.
Oh, it's unbelievable. We've come out firing and we've got to make sure we keep it going, because what we've done in the first half has been outstanding. We've just got to make sure we don't let ourselves down in the second half now.
All it would take, though, is for the Bulls to get a decent, sustained bit of possession, and they could still trouble you, couldn't they?
Oh, absolutely. They're a class side, and they've shown that all the way through. You're not defending champions for no reason, but we've come out firing, and we've got to make sure we continue it.
Just finally, presumably had one eye on the Broncos today. A great win for them, and they look safe now.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm really pleased for them. They're outstanding. The last 4 games have been brilliant, and I'm really pleased for them, and hopefully that's them safe, and looking forward to seeing them back here the last game of the season, and then next year.
Thanks, Liam.
Okay, mate. Cheers, thanks.
There's Liam Botham back at Headingley. New 1-year deal agreed on loan with the London Broncos earlier in the season. Got himself a bit of form, and enough form to persuade Tony Smith and company here to give him a 1-year 2-year agreement. And of course he kicked the goal that levelled the match against Leeds in the capital, that started this wonderful run the Broncos have had. It was 36-all, I think, that night, and since then London have kicked on and they have secured their Super League status for next year. That's a good kick from Bradford. Mathers picks it up on his own line, but Leon Price couldn't get near him. There was a possible use of a shepherd there by Leeds and Mathers, but the referee was happy with it. This now is senior.
The one advantage, of course, that Leeds did have in that first stanza was that they had the wind behind them, so they kick in. What an offload!
McDermott to Marcus Bai. Great tackle by Reardon. He's brave, this fullback. Here's Marcus Bai. Here is Sinfield. Here's Burrow. Wide it goes to McKenna. McKenna fancies a try every time he gets the ball in hand, by the looks of it. Burrow. Adamson showed it to Burrow, and then, oh, that's overconfident, really. But it came off. I mean, when things go for you, things go for you. If that would have been Bradford, it would have gone to a Leeds Rhino.
It certainly did, but he did the dummy run around, and really when you do something like that, you need something coming on the second phase of attack.
McDermott almost cleanly on Price out. He got the ball away, though, to Carl Pratt.
See the difference between the two sides. Every time there's a kick and chase, Leeds, they're all over them. Look at that. That's great work from the first and second marker. It's so important. You've got to roll your sleeves up sometimes in this game.
It's a decent enough start to the second half by the Bradford Bulls. They maybe have upped the gear. Remember when you were here in Millwood with the Saints, you were facing a similar situation to this. You couldn't stop them, could you? You couldn't stop Leeds getting on the roll and posting all those points.
Well, when a team's playing very well, it's how you handle it and how much ball you get will curb it. I know when we were here, our completion rate was disastrous, and in the first half, Bradford's wasn't good, and then our kicking game was even worse. So you never get field position to get in a little bit of rhythm, and the opposition gets so aggressive because they're always in your half, and they can dominate you in defence and attack. So we compounded it by what we did with the ball and our kicking game. And if Bradford do that, they'll be on the same level as we were. And at the moment, Leeds have shown all indications they've started stronger. They've opened them up a couple of times. So at the moment, it's all Leeds still.
And Robbie Paul has come on, as you see there, for Carl Pratt. It's a bold move by any coach to withdraw his captain. But twice we've seen Bradford now. That's what Brian Noble has done, Stephen.
Yeah, and I thought that maybe it could have changed him around.
Marcus Bai
that's awful defence.
blasts his way through, and again. And he's got Maguire with him, but I don't think he'll need him. He won't. Maguire.
Did he get it down, though?
Well, the referee has given it to the video referee to decide. Did Marcus Bai ground this football?
We'll soon see. He's spinning around.
Yes.
Yeah. That should be given. Well, Brian Noble, he'll be looking for a shotgun somewhere. Because that defence was nothing short of pathetic, Eddie.
But it was a tremendously powerful run from the Papua New Guinea international Marcus Bai.
It's amazing, you know, we go to see Tony Smith, and I don't think it's his pace. I think they've made a model where he just keeps deadpan and he doesn't do... I haven't seen him smile for years, but he should be smiling at this. Brian Noble won't be. Watch this. Pat a cake, pat a cake. Two going in the same region. They can't even see the legs. Never mind one to go for him and stop them. Minacolo at least trying to get low. Really knocked the ball away, but Marcus Bai, that's the reason why Leeds brought him here. He knows the way to the line.
And Kevin Sinfield will now try and add the extras. And at this range, this should be a formality. And it is. So they go past the 30-point mark. It's 32-0 now to the Leeds Rhinos. Start of this second half. As I keep saying, keep harping on, it's 32 years since their last championship. And it was by virtue of a top 16 playoff in 1972. They also topped the table 4 other times in that era, but they won the championship final just once, previously in 1969. So 69 and 72. Since then, as far as the league is concerned, it has been pretty poor fare in terms of championships and trophies for this club. But this year, although you have to play well at the end of the season as well as in the middle of June, July and August, this year, heading into the playoffs, Steve-o, they must think that the Holy Grail is coming home.
Well, you'd think so, but as I mentioned before, that's an error. A rare one as well from Leeds.
Jamie Jones-Buchanan just couldn't take the pass in. Had he done so, it would have been another try, I think.
Certainly would. Just had to turn a little bit back. Maguire maybe just sending it behind him. But getting back to that point with Tony Smith, we were jokingly saying that, it's not his real face, it's painted on in that expressionless sort of feeling. But it's because he's very cool, calm and collected. He won't get carried away with this. And my mind goes back to the day that St. Helens just absolutely ripped them apart, and he just shrugged his shoulders and said, bad day at the office, don't worry, we'll come back. And they have.
Very much so. Here's Harris talking of comebacks, and it's Sinfield who did the tackling. Deacon infield to Reardon. They just can't get through Bradford. McDermott took a bang in the face then. Peacock trying to break the line this time, gets the ball away. Reardon. Now they have men on the overlap here. This is Vainicolo. Ball back inside. Shontaine Harpy, but Leeds muscling up so well in defence again. Logan Swan. Yestin Harris. Good ball. Robbie Paul. Stab through. Johnson's after this. Maguire gets to it first.
Not a bad option. In fact, it's perhaps the only option left to Bradford these days now in this particular game, and that is the kick through. Maguire read it ever so well. Robbie Paul trying to inject some enthusiasm, a little bit of fire, needs a little bit of that, but to be fair, Bradford really haven't shown their power and their strength in the forwards, mainly due to the fact that Leeds are just concentrating on keeping the ball alive. And if you don't do your one-on-one tackle, you'll get cut apart, and that's what's happening.
Barry McDermott, as I said, took a bang in the face in a tackle in that last set of 6. They're withdrawing him. He will go to the sideline, as will we, to talk to Phil.
You mentioned Barry McDermott. Well, whichever forwards they have on the field, they're still more dominant than the opponents at the moment. It's just one of the reasons why they're so far in front of the scoreboard. Another reason, when they have had possession this season, Leeds, they've offloaded the ball almost twice as much as every other team in Super League on average per game. They really are keen to promote, and one of the reasons why when they do make a break, it's no surprise they have players up there close in support. Just to go back again to that Marcus Spy run and try, I was talking to a player from another club just last week, one who former Great Britain international, and he reckons Marcus Spy is the hardest runner in Super League.
Fielden with the drive in, and they put him down, and Diskin eventually wrestles him down to the floor. Harris at dummy half. Deacon waits for the runner. It's Peacock. Great defence again.
And it's basic defence. It's something that Bradford aren't doing. Leeds are having one down, one to stop the offload. It's just basic.
This is Reardon. Can't get through this fantastic scrambling Leeds defence. McKenna and Jones-Buchanan then. Can they get through this time? No. Once again, Leeds foil them. Robbie Paul waits there, and it's Paul Johnson who will play the ball. Give it some width here to Deacon, and Deacon back on his inside. Peacock's away from Mathers. Can't get away from Sinfield. That's the last.
Again, we see Bradford switch the ball back on the inside, but they stood still.
Harris, good ball. Forward though. Forward pass. Forward pass. Vainicolo's over the line again, but it's chalked off once more. It's a forward pass from Harris, he says.
Good work also from Chev Walker. Not so sure that this try would have been given. Watch how Walker puts himself over, and does he twist him? Either way, makes no difference. It was definitely forward. No indication of the momentum rule. We haven't seen that for a while.
We've hardly dared to mention it. And we won't go over old ground again. Diskin.
Well, I've been burying dog bones for the last 6 months in the hope that it will disappear.
Senior, that's better defence from Bradford. Maguire. Oh, and a bit of a rough. Oh, and a penalty now against Senior because he didn't play the ball properly.
And he said something untoward to the official. Definitely lost it. Both ways. First the ball.
Well, the reaction means he's been marched 10 metres further back, and Justin Harris goes 5 metres back the other way. Here is Rob Parker for Bradford. You feel that they simply have to score with all this pressure, otherwise heads could drop. Harris. Logan Swan. More wonderful defence.
Good work from Bailey.
Well, that's got to be a penalty to Bradford, and it is.
He's looking up to being a sin bin. Professional foul. Oh, and it's getting a bit heated.
Whoa, and Logan Swan just parting Carl Kirkpatrick's hair then. He flung the ball at Leeds and it just missed the referee.
Well, I don't know when Mr. Kirkpatrick's going to the barbers, but he certainly won't be. But just
deliberately got entangled with Logan Swan. That's what started that. We don't need it. Come here.
And now the referee will have a word with Mr. Vinacolo.
Well, it was a high shot from Richie Mathers. It was scrappy, and then
Leslie, it's
see the ball, he picks the ball up,
come running in from
goes
15
back,
metres. We don't want that.
and goes for very close. That close shave. I think that's what you call it. They've got to score now, Bradford, to have any chance of getting involved in this game, and with mistakes like that, they never will.
Johnson dropping the ball.
And that's a penalty. He went with the knees, did Johnson. It's getting tasty.
Well, it's frustration for Bradford, I'm afraid. And it's as well, or it's as important now just how they handle this situation as it is how they handle this, what might be defeat.
Well, look at this. Didn't have to put the knees in there. Ridiculous.
He said he didn't hear the referee's whistle. 21,200 did.
You don't have to have the referee's whistle if you put your knees into the ribs.
There you go.
Leeds on halfway, courtesy of that penalty. And Maguire goes down the short side with Senior. Oh, and if he'd have got Marcus Byaway then, and he knows, had he got Marcus Byaway then, the Papua New Guinean might have been over for another try.
Well, the only thing I can think of there, so early in the tackle count, to do the short blindside, that this is a move that they've practiced on the training ground.
Heads in, heads in.
It looked as though it was going to go on the open side, and then they switched to the blind. Certainly pulled the winger in.
Harris gets the ball away to Reardon, but McKenna all over him. As soon as he received the ball, this is Radford. Picked up by Harpy. McKenna again, and Adamson.
Sadly for Bradford, we've seen nothing from the two halfbacks, Paul Deek and Justin Harris. He's had a poor game. He's not been allowed any space to move. And I think the emotion, you know, the pressure that's been going on between the two clubs in the media this week. Oh, look at that. That is not good. Oh, it's a play on. Well, that has to be a knock-on.
How's he got that?
God knows.
Well,
that is
we'll
amazing.
See.
That's amazing.
We'll see. Maybe later. Robbie Paul finds Harpy. Chev Walker. Great tackle. Robbie Paul. Radford.
You know, sheer brute strength will not break down this Leeds outfit. They've got to come up with something different. Run around, back on the inside. Even a dummy runner, perhaps.
Robbie Paul. He finds Deacon. Robbie Paul again. Harris, long ball. Oh, Parker, they're in here, surely. Logan Swan, that's the first Bradford try. It's been a long time coming, and there's no celebration from the coach. But Bradford over the line at last, and this one will count.
That's probably the first time that the Bulls have kept the ball alive and then that's got to be a knock-on. How on earth can it be anything other than a knock-on? And then the official said, play on. They got away with it. It's frustrating, I know. But for once, and it was a good pass from Harris. McKenna, he's been the star in regards to attack, but he took a huge gamble here. Out of the line, and as soon as it went over the top, they knew it was curtains. Swan dives in.
Logan Swan. He's quite a player, this fellow, but he will leave Odsal after just 1 year with the Bradford Bulls, and Warrington are rumoured to be interested. Paul Deacon, the South stand behind him, doing their best to put him off. Good kick. Bradford on the board at last, 32 points to 6. It's not the Saints we're watching. Is there time?
They see centre McKenna caught in no man's land, and when that occurs, it's always going to be 3-on-1.
Hold the line.
He just threw the dummy.
Hold the line.
Well,
Logan Swan.
At least they've got on the scoreboard there.
Indeed, they have got on the scoreboard. As I say, we aren't watching the Saints. We have the Saints head coach with us, Ian Millwood. You are the great escapers, but surely there is no tunnel for Bradford to dig here, is there?
Well, definitely there isn't. I don't think so, because if you look at some clean breaks early by Leeds, they're the ones who made the clean breaks. But they're not going to get back into it, not having the ball, Eddie.
No. They are not.
But Eddie...
And there's a penalty now. And
he's got to send someone.
Not happy.
He's got to send someone to calm things down. After 10 minutes, and he's done it. He's done the right thing as the official. I'm not so sure that fella's done the right thing for his side. But 32-16, all sorts of problems.
Not the best, Ian.
Eddie, I think this is a strange decision going for 2 points. They've got a team that's, at the moment, defending their line, not defending well. The scoreboard says that, and they're going to go for the 2. So that's a strange one, I think. The other strange one is that they've opened them up about 3 or 4 times, Leeds, and it's just been the pass. If you look from that tap, Senior giving the ball, Bye wasn't there, or it was drop ball. Jamie Jones Buchanan dropping the ball in open space. So, they're a bit unlucky Rhinos. If they're executing me better, this scoreboard will be really ticking away. The thing that has helped Bradford is they've had some ball and had continued ball down here, and they did well. But, the signs aren't great because, but they will be very good if they take 2.
Ian, what's that contraption that Tony Smith has got there? Is it something electronic? Is it an easel? Is it what is it? Have you ever seen anything like that before?
No, it looks like a blackboard, and he must do a lot of writing and rub it out. And the way they're playing, he's probably playing a few noughts and crosses, things like that.
It's not etching. It's not etching. He's not drawing the players.
Well, it might be a fundraising. He might be etching some great moves and then raffle them off on eBay, maybe, Steve-O.
Well, I tell you what, whatever it is, that contraption in front of Tony Smith, it is working.
Certainly is, but I find that quite confusing as well, as Ian Millwood has mentioned, that going for 2 would get absolutely wrapped up.
Steve, I'll ask you the question, what would you have done then there with that penalty? Would you have gone for the 6 or gone for the 2?
I would have gone for the 6, of course I would.
Richie Mathers got the ball from the short kick-off.
Well, someone's lit the fuse, and I'm afraid we're going to have an explosion very, very soon if the official, Mr. Kirkpatrick, doesn't keep an eye on this.
I tell you what Steve-O might have done in the situation like Leeds had just a few moments ago. He might actually have been screaming for them to go for the 1. Never mind the 6 or the 4.
But keep in mind, Eddie, they were down to 12 men.
Yes, absolutely.
And they defend on their line also. Keep that in mind, 12 men, and they are for the next 10 minutes.
Yes, I know what you're saying.
And not only that, the time that it takes to place the ball eats up the clock. You're just working negative against yourself.
Quarter of the match remaining.
Play on!
High kick from Sinfield, and probably too long. It is. Not even Chris McKenna could keep that in.
Well, he tried his damnedest. Certainly got a touch to it. If he'd have gone back on the inside, he was in mid-air, that would have been play on. Is that a big game?
Well, we're having a good time up here, chatting amongst ourselves. Let's bring Phil Clark into the equation. Phil.
Eddie, I think there is a strong possibility that this game really could kick off in terms of a bit of violence on the pitch. I don't know what Steve-O's afraid of. We're pretty safe on the sidelines. It's the players in the middle who are going to have to do it tough. But the reason I think that might happen, it seems as though Leeds are determined to assert their physical dominance over their opponents. And I think it's significant here now as we approach the last few games in the season. If there's one thing that Leeds want to prove, they've still got a little bit of mongrel in them. They can do the dirty, hard stuff if they need to, and they want to stand up to whatever Bradford throw at them.
Yes, well, it's been a very physical encounter, hasn't it? And Leeds have refused to be bossed by Bradford. Of course, there are a couple of pretty big fellas who are sitting this one out, Joe Vangenaar and Paul Anderson, so they have some weight to come back, hopefully before the end of the season, the champions. And Leeds, you know, David Ferner apart, it's a pretty clean bill of health they've got as they approach the playoffs. I think every coach in the business would love to be in Tony Smith's position. He's even let the likes of Chris Feather go out on loan. They are injury-free, and that is always good for a run towards the grand final.
And I think if you look down the years that have gone by from Old Trafford, the team that has escaped the injuries, inevitably they pick up the trophy.
Here goes Senior, here is Jamie Jones-Buchanan, and here's another 4 points for the Rhinos. And they will not let up tonight. And another note goes down on the chalkboard. Jamie Jones-Buchanan, another Leeds player to bring a scowl to the face of Brian Noble, and another Leeds player who has just signed a one-year deal to stay here. They all want to stay, and Jamie Jones-Buchanan with this try, his 50th appearance for the Rhinos.
Again, a missed tackle. They allowed Burrows to work that short blind side. Good support work. Little fella knew exactly what he was going to do. They were having a bit of a rest out there. Off balance, trying to make the tackle. You can't. Jones-Buchanan in for another 4. Surely this will be extended to 6. And the Rhino is jogging and bobbing along.
I think the Rhino might be jogging and bobbing all the way to Old Trafford, because remember, if they finish top, they get the first bite with a home tie against the team finishing second. If they happen to lose that, they have the second bite of the cherry also at home. And Leeds at the moment, and after tonight, will maintain this 100% record at this ground. Sinfield out to the extras, 40 points to 6. 40 points in their last 5 games now for the Leeds Rhinos.
And it's a good ploy to work the short line, knowing that your opposition has got a man in the sin bin and a centre at that, Leon Price. So there's always going to be a bit of a shaky situation on that short side. And a little bit of luck has gone Bradford's way for a change.
It is, the ball's in possession with Rob Parker, but not for long. Brian Noble, he is seeking his 100th victory as the Bulls coach. I think he's going to have to wait at least another week. And worryingly for Brian Noble, they've lost their last 2 away games coming into this game against Wigan and Hull. And this is going to be 3 in a row away from home.
And the biggest problem, of course, for this Bradford outfit, that a lot of those errors have come very early in the tackle count. So they just can't get any momentum whatsoever.
Well, the next away game for Bradford is Bank Holiday Monday at 5:30. It's live on Sky Sports 1. It's Hull against Bradford. Hull lost today against bottom of the table Castleford. Bradford losing here, and I think there's 3 points between them, between second and third in the table. So if Hull win next Monday, Hull can just about say that they will finish runners-up after the weekly rounds. And that's important because, okay, they will then come to Headingley probably. If they lose that, they will have their second bite of the cherry also at home. Following us?
Yep.
And Leeds in this form, if they continue on against Castleford next Friday, will wrap up the league leadership.
There's a problem, Burrow. Viner Kohler just looking after him, making sure that He hasn't swallowed the tongue, he hasn't moved him. See there, he went in very, very awkward. That is the worst thing that can happen to any rugby player, is that you get your head right in the midriff. You've got to make sure that you're trying to get your head either one side or the other.
And the officials were very, very quickly over, and so was the trainer here for Leeds, to make sure that Rob Burrow was all right. Well, he's small in stature, but he's got a giant heart, this young man.
He's certainly played his part, and well done. Leslie Vinacolo went to his attention straight away.
I think they're going to take him off. His legs just buckled there as he was asked if he was okay. So well, he goes off.
At 40 points to 6, Eddie.
Well, there's no point.
No, you don't risk it.
No, there's a bit of rugby league to be played between now and the end of the season.
Give him 10. Give him 10.
Well, this is the advantage that I was speaking about in regards to Bradford do have the wind to help them.
But Leeds have the wind in their sails at the moment. And here's poaching.
Good work from Langley. He's working overtime. 2 tackles on the trot.
Isn't it amazing the way sequences have a habit of turning round? Bradford beat Leeds 5 times last year. This is Leeds' 3rd win in a row in 2004 against the men from Odsal. And there's probably a short price that they're going to meet once or twice more before the end of the year.
The biggest problem that Leeds will have now is that they may fall into the shell and just do a little bit too much individual stuff rather than play as a unit, but this is great.
It is, and this is Walker. Oh, I think this will go to the video rec. Did he hit the corner flag before he plunked the ball down? It's slide rule time again for Jeff Berry. The build-up was magnificent.
Great effort. Not often many people push away Vinacolo like that. Look how he had the eyes on Reardon and still swatted him away. Watch for the right leg. That's okay. Is this... Oh, I think this will be given. Now,
the post is at an angle of 45 degrees.
At an angle that will prove to be positive. This is going to be TR wide. If it was normally straight, this would not be given. Look how it's leaning forward. And he's got the ball down before that. There. And then he hits it. TR wide. Little doubt in my mind.
But you are not Jeff Berry, and you gave a try over the other side to Leslie Vinacolo when it was 6-0, I think.
Sometimes you can be lucky in life, Eddie. I think this is going to be a try.
Well, Chef Walker hopes so. What does Mr. Berry say? There you go. Leeds had got themselves ready for the kick-off. Well, they were that confident it was going to be given.
Well, there was a gasp.
Well, there's a groan. I tell you what, if it was 40-38 or 8-10, there'd have been more of a groan.
Well, we'd have still been seeing the 15th, 16th replay if that had been the case, and rightly so.
Of course,
you've got to make it right.
Of course you have, and Jeff Berry ruled, in his opinion, that the corner flag was touched before the ball went down.
Come on, get out, Wayne!
As I say, 40 points to 6, it matters little.
The one thing that does matter, I suppose, that the Rugby Football League have to maybe look at the fact that they've got to make sure that those posts are straight at all times, because if that occurs in a sudden death in the playoffs, there's going to be heck to play.
Price has emerged from the sin bin. Well, the posts very rarely are standing erect for 80 minutes. And having said that, it's the groundsmen who have to be instructed. I wouldn't like to see any rugby league official out there with a hammer.
Well, maybe the ball boys could just keep an eye on it.
Good kick from Harris. It's turned Walker around, and look at Leslie Vinacolo. Well, the ball was grounded, the tackle was completed, and it's going to be a goal line dropout.
Unbelievable.
Vinacolo,
Look at this. Woo-woo. Boom. I don't know what time that train set off.
About 10 minutes from full time, I think, that train left the halfway line.
Time off.
Well, Leeds
Come on.
are taking their time with this goal line dropout.
Nice Quickham.
Phil Clark,
Quickham, yeah.
impressive this.
It is, you know, before the game, Bill and I were talking to some Leeds fans just on the terraces, and they've had their hearts broken so many times over the last decade or so, where they've either got to finals and lost them or failed at the final hurdle. And I just get the feeling that with this sort of domination over their opponents, this impressive performance here today, I just think that maybe there'll be certainly one going to grand final and buying the tickets for that on Monday, I'm sure. And secondly, maybe now, just maybe, I think they could be the team this year.
Oh dear. Phil Clark has tipped Leeds for a victory at the grand final.
He's put their hex on them.
It used to be Steve-O who actually did that to teams. Now it's Phil. This is Robbie Paul and Shantane Harpy. Vinacolo. Is he going to get over this time? No. He's untouched. His head is on the whitewash and his shoulder as well. And the way that Leeds celebrate. Look at that. As I say, you'd think this match was so close, but they appreciate each other. They appreciate the work they all do.
Well, there were 4 there into the mix.
Great team spirit.
Yep. And the amazing thing is, you know, Eddie, remember the first game, Oxford, Bradford had just beaten the Penrith Panthers in the World Club Challenge. They took Wigan apart that night. And I must say, it looked as though they were going to be
Here, fellas, no penalties.
king of the castle once again, but it's crumbled, especially tonight.
Well, some of the coaches, well, one of the coaches anyway, in Super League was saying they're all playing for second spot. Amazing how things turn around. The signs were brilliant for Bradford at the start of the year after that Penrith victory at Huddersfield, and as you say, then the Wigan victory at Odsal. They looked awesome. They were awesome.
Yeah, they certainly were. And I think
they have been disrupted by injuries.
Of course, and all clubs have. Maybe Leeds, as you mentioned earlier, that they've got away with it less than other sides. But as I mentioned, that Brian Noble, he was so confident that they would started to hit the straps yet again, and this is why it's going to be a bitter pill to swallow.
Well, it all was going very well for Bradford until St Helens took them on in the Challenge Cup and beat them on the way to Cardiff. Ian, you might be responsible for what we're seeing out there in Bradford jerseys now.
Well, I think every team's beatable on their day, especially when you get to this elite level where there's so many good players. And if we're the ones who brought the downfall, well, that's great. But, you know, I mean, it's I don't think it's a downfall. Look, there's nothing between the teams. I believe Leeds will get through the grand final in the position they are. And I believe that the other teams, we're working, jockeying to get in the other position. But, you know, keep in mind, too, that they've lost some valuable players in the off-season. James Lowe was so experienced around dummy half as playing as a hooker. Mike Forshaw, he moved on. Daniel Gartner, Scott Naylor. So there's a lot of experience they lost.
Oh, here's Harpy. Good ball to Reardon. Better ball to Harris. Harris under the sticks. Yes. Well, that will answer one or two critics, maybe. There'll be no celebrating by Bradford, apart from on the terraces. Harris's face tells its own story. Third try of his Bradford Ball's career, but he won't celebrate this one very much because it's not the winner against the old enemy.
Well, they stood off and good work. Comes in Harpy back on the inside, did everything right. Good support play. Fullback knew that Harris was there, and the skills are still with this fella, the Welsh wizard, Justin Harris. They kept it alive. Very few occasions they've done that. That was good work by the centre and also the fullback. Look at the step here. Bai could do little to stop him. Neither could Lauatiti.
And Deacon from bang in front adds the extras. The score here at Headingley now is 40 points to 12. Leeds have won the match. We all know that. The only other question that we need to be answered now is who's the man of the match? And the man with the answer, Dave Hadfield.
Justin Harris has got his try, but he's been thoroughly upstaged here tonight. Not only that, but so has Danny Maguire been upstaged, perhaps, by a performance that had people coming up to me at half-time and casting their votes then. He's scored 2 tries, he's set up another 1 or 2, he's made the best tackle of the match. Chris McKenna, he's our man of the match tonight. Best game he's played for Leeds.
Well, I tell you what, this Sky Sports Man of the Match really has caught on, because there were 21,200 pairs of eyes looking at the big screen then. They all wanted to know who was the man of the match. Here was a candidate, I'm sure, Willie Poaching, had he been on the field a little longer.
Well, he created the first 2 tries, really set the ball rolling.
Anyway, Chris McKenna goes home with the watch and the points, and he knows that Leeds are 1 game away from being crowned as league leaders 2004, ahead of the playoffs in the Tetley's Super League. Inside the last 5 minutes now. Look at this defence from Leeds.
Withers did well there. Play on, didn't get him down. Looked as though it ball carrying arm had hit the deck. Either way, it's going to be a lot of soul searching, this Bradford outfit. The dominance in the forwards has not been forthcoming.
Well, they've been bullied by Leeds, no question.
Yeah.
Harris hit that ball at pace. It goes to Logan Swan, gives it back to Lee Radford. The sheer physical strength of the Leeds side tonight has been hugely impressive.
Well, their defence has been very, very good, and on the other hand, the balls have been very poor.
As I say, they've got men like Van Genaar and Anderson to come back. Reardon. Robbie Paul. Fielden's on his inside, goes the other way. Finds Peacock, finds Price, gets it wide. Withers. Can Withers squeeze in? No, Withers is squeezed out. And Leon Price has angered Keith Senior.
Now then. Mr. Senior is not too pleased.
Well, I don't think Keith Senior took...
Oh, he's in it, oh, it's gone.
Well, he didn't take too kindly to the fact that Leon Price's knee appeared to be somewhere in the neck area of a grounded player, but I only think it was...
He'll send him off.
I only think it was a collision in the tackle, to be fair.
No, it's put him into the sin bin.
Leon Price in the sin bin for the second time.
Well, he should be off.
But he's got to surely take Keith Senior out as well, hasn't he?
Well, of course. I mean, you can't have a player just controlling, taking over the referee.
To be fair to Leon Price, he did nothing after this.
No. Well, I don't think he did anything at all.
Well, he was tangled up with the man on the ground, and then Keith Senior decided to have a go.
Well, I can't believe that. And then Senior later, as they clash at him, the officials are there, and then Leon Price goes to the sin bin twice.
I think the referee...
You see, look at that, I mean...
I think the referee has sent him to the sin bin because he asked him twice to come and talk to him. I think I heard that, I'm not sure.
So, we can go around slapping people on the face because I don't like it.
Well, I honestly thought that if one went, the other one had to, but anyway. You see, it's going to get silly now.
Of course it is. This is sheer stupidity.
And I'm sorry, it has a lot to do with what is happening, the man in the striped jersey in the middle. He's done his best to keep his lid on it, this Mr. Kirkpatrick, to be fair to him.
Well,
but there's one or two things that he's missed, and it's caused annoyance amongst the players.
They have, but
too much in the tackle.
If there's going to be a problem with Leeds' outfit, we said midway through this season that Tony Smith, the new coach, had eliminated all the silly play that we've seen from the Rhinos over the years, giving away silly penalties. And I reckon they have shown a little bit that Leeds can be riled. This is going to be tasty. Only seconds remaining.
Maguire looking for a kick wide, maybe. No, he's tantalising the defence. Can he get rid of the ball? No, he gets the tackle by Lee Radford.
Good play, Joe, well done.
Here's Mathers. Saw a hole, went for it.
Hey! Come on!
Last 25 seconds of the match coming up. Sinfield finds Adamson.
Oh, release!
Adamson grounded on tackle number 4 by Stuart Fielden. Lauatiti inside to Sinfield. Kick across field is gathered in by Withers, who hands it on a plate. And here comes Peacock. And that will do, I think. That will do. Match is over. Leeds have won it in a canter, really. They were dominant from start to finish. It began with Maguire's try in the opening minute, straight from the kick-off almost. Chris McKenna's had a magnificent match. He scored 2 tries in the first half. They shared 2 tries apiece in the second half, to be fair, Leeds and Bradford, but Leeds totally and completely dominant, and they dominated the men from Odsal. 5 straight wins for Leeds, 9 matches unbeaten. The sort of form that prompts you to think the Rhinos could well be at Old Trafford on October the 16th. It was a wonderful performance from Leeds. Bradford back to the drawing board for the rest of the week, and they will have to be on top of their game when they take on Hull at the KC Stadium on bank holiday Monday evening. Bill Arthur is talking now to Chris McKenna, who is a deserved man of the match.
Chris, a couple of tries, but would that tackle on Leslie Vainikolo, it was probably a crucial moment in the game, would that give you more pleasure?
Yeah, it was. We pride ourselves on our defence. We know we can score tries, but to keep them scoreless in that first half was a great effort, and yeah, it was good.
Can you believe that scoreboard?
No, just a bit disappointed. Those 12 points against us, I think. I know myself, my defence was down on what it normally is. I was pretty embarrassed about my defence tonight, but my attack was a bit better, so I sort of balanced itself out.
Well, the view is that's probably the best game, all-round game you've played in your Leeds career.
Yeah, best attacking game anyway.
Well done, Chris, on a man-of-the-match performance.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and thanks to T-Shirt.
Thanks, Chris. There's Coach Tony Smith alongside, and you were writing away on that chalkboard of yours. What's the secret? What are you writing on that?
Just keeping track of where the team's at and what they're doing, and it was good tonight. Didn't have to write too much, actually.
Well, the arrows were all pointed in the right direction, weren't they?
Most of the time, yeah. It was a pretty solid performance. To let in our first try at 55 minutes against Bradford is, it takes some effort, and both with the ball and without the ball. So, yeah, pleased.
You've beaten them 3 times this season now, but given the stage of the season and that win and the way you went about it, would that be the most satisfying and maybe the most significant?
Yeah, it's hard to put them all, compare them all. Each game's important, but certainly, they seem to lift when we play some of the bigger teams, and it's a good trait to have at this time of the year.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.
Well, this is the way it finished, 40 points to 12. It looked like it would be a lot worse for Bradford at one stage, particularly at half-time when it was 26-0, and it was a full house, a capacity crowd to witness the destruction of the Bradford Bulls. And it means at the top of the table that Leeds are clear leaders. They only have to beat the Castleford Tigers, who are fighting for their lives at the foot of the table here on Friday night to claim the league leadership ahead of the playoffs. Phil Clark, as we see Leeds travelling together, working together, who's going to stop them this year?
I'm not too sure. We've said before that the Super League's a bit like a marathon, but it doesn't look as though they've hit the wall at this stage. That's the only worry. They've just got to maintain that level. And when you lose like Bradford have done tonight, you look for any positives you can. Second half scoreline of 14 points to 12. They did better there, and they'll have to build on that for next week against the Hull side.
Thanks very much, Phil. Yes, that point is well made by Phil Clark. 14-12 it was at half-time. And so Ian Millward, who is here from St Helens, of course, and all of you coaches now, you have to try and stop Leeds if you can. But 14-12 in the second half. Bradford, as they say, stopped the bleeding, didn't they?
Well, there's an old saying, it's a game of 2 halves, and Phil's come up with a spot-on comment there, is that, look, Brian wouldn't have been happy today. They've missed too many tackles. They looked a little bit edgy and nervous, and lacked a bit of composure in attack. Rhinos were the best team, Leeds, by far. But, the second half, 14-12, they can sit back and analyse it and say, look, this is what we're going to do both halves. It's happened to every Super League team. It's going to happen to us all. But what we're going to do is get 2 halves together that are good. And, I know even on Friday night, we got beaten the first half, we won the second half. And that'll be the team that wins the championship, can get both halves right.
Absolutely. I mean, it is very difficult to stop a team like Leeds when they're in full flow. And Steve-O, there you are. Believe Leeds. Do we believe that 2004 is going to be their year?
Yes, I think you'd have to safely say after the performance, especially in that first half. Look, far too many missed tackles by this Bradford outfit. Brian Noble will be spitting chips. He will not be happy with that. And it came apparent soon after the restart, not the best defence there. It was just like going through the turnstile, wasn't it? Marcus Pye. And from there on in, OK, he got a bit scrappy. But I mentioned during the course of that second half that it is very difficult when you know you've got the game well and truly wrapped up at half-time. You go into a little bit of a, well, you go to sleep a little bit. You try to be a little bit more individual rather than team spirit. But they certainly have got that team spirit. And yes, I think Tony Smith, and I'm really, really happy because of the fact at the end of the game, Tony Smith smiled. They must be doing something right.
Well, that performance will certainly bring a smile to the face of the coach, and they're all happy on the terraces who have the blue and amber on their backs. What a tremendous night for Leeds, and it can all be sorted out on Friday night for them. They can clinch the League Leaders Trophy if they beat Castleford. It's live, Sky Sports 1 from 7:30. A fantastic bank holiday weekend. Widnes Wigan Saturday at 6. Widnes Desperate as well, of course, at the foot of the table, and bank holiday Monday at 5:30. Hull against Bradford, the battle we think now for second place. All the games on Sky Sports 1. Then we have 2 from Australia over the bank holiday. Each and every weekend we've been bringing you this from the NRL. Saturday 10:30, Sunday 10:30, both on Sky Sports 3. Cronulla Melbourne and West Tigers against North Queensland. Fantastic night if you're a Leeds Rhino supporter. Fantastic night. Maybe ahead for them on Friday. An emotional night at Headingley for everybody, and well done to the Leeds Rhinos. Thanks to Ian Milver for being here. We shall see Ian, I'm sure, on the Old Trafford Road before the end of the season. From us all, goodbye.